Hello, I'm Joanne Jenkins, Chief Executive Officer of AARP, America's largest membership organization serving people aged 50 and over. With more than 5 million of our 38 million members currently or previously having served in the military, we're on a mission to support veterans and military families. That's why we've created a wide range of free resources, tools, and community programs to help veterans and military families navigate their options and meet challenges head-on. We've developed a job board that directly connects veterans and military spouses to employers wanting to hire them. And we have free resources that provide some military structure to starting a business. We know that when you're a military veteran caregiver, you start younger, care longer, and face many unique challenges. That's why AARP provides a free military caregiving guide containing important and timely information that you truly need. Because military veterans or service members are twice as likely to be a target for fraud, the AARP Fraud Watch Network, in partnership with Operation Protect Veterans, provides free action alerts detailing the latest scams directed at veterans and military families. And through our state offices nationwide, AARP can help you find the right opportunity to give back to your community and fellow veterans. To learn more about these and other resources, visit aarp.org/veterans. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Angela M. Odom, and I serve as a volunteer for the Veteran Outreach with AARP Georgia. At AARP, we honor the sacrifices made by those who served. Our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus, lived by the motto, serve, not be served. In fact, AARP has a long history of supporting veterans, military, and their families, including nearly 5 million who are AARP members. We veterans have unique challenges given our service to our country. So AARP offers free community programs and services on caregiving, recareering, fighting fraud, and navigating service benefits. We also wanted to make our free resources quick and easy to access at aarp.org/veterans. With nearly 10% of our membership being veterans and military families, we're dedicated to meeting the needs of all who have sacrificed for our great nation. At this time, I would like to introduce our moderator for today's panel discussion on veteran entrepreneurship, Mr. Garrett Gdavis. As the founder and CEO of Gdavis Productions, Garrett entertains, educates, and brings forth awareness of health disparities with his bodies of work, which include stage plays, Mama's Girls, Daddy's Boys, Forget Me Not, Sisters at Heart, and he even has a play dedicated to veteran transition, Clearly Invisible. Without further ado, I present to you Mr. Garrett Gdavis. Good morning, Garrett.
Good morning, and thank you for that kind introduction. Today, I am so excited because I get an opportunity to do what I love to do, and that is be affiliated with AARP. I truly believe that AARP is a great resource, and I want to do my part to let the world know. So thank you so much for that kind introduction. Today, we are excited to give you the Veterans Entrepreneurship Summit. It's our very first one. And some of our goals today are pathways to business ownership, steps to help you identify the right business opportunity for you, challenges, risks, and rewards of business ownership, leveling up your business using social media, how to work with your local Chamber of Commerce and Small Business Administration. We got two panels that can be set up in about 45 minutes apiece. And I'm about to introduce the first panel in just a few minutes. But first, our audience, I'd like to welcome all AARP Georgia members and volunteers, veterans and partners, and community partners. This program is definitely for you. We invite you to once again like and share this event. And Christopher Boyd said, what a great event. Thank you so much. And please like and share this event. And now I'm going to introduce our panel for this first session this morning. I'm going to introduce our panel. And first up is John Jackson. John Jackson is a decorated combat veteran who served as a U.S. Army Airborne Ranger. He founded STAG Vets Incorporated, Stag Vets Incorporated in 2014, and Comfort Farms in 2016 to assist homeless veterans, veterans in need, and veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury. Due to his own experience with traumatic brain injury and chronic post-traumatic stress, John decided he was not going to let PTSD and TBI determine his future, nor will he let these injuries define the thousands of vets who are suffering with no assistance. With his knowledge, exceptional leadership skill, and drive to care for others, John created Stag Vets Incorporated to ensure veterans could receive the care they deserve and use sustainable farming as a tool to build communities and instill a sense of pride into the team of vets that are working through the program. And so, of course, we're going to be welcoming John in just a few minutes. He's one of our panelists. Our next panelist for today is Bridgette. That's right. Her name is Bridgette McCoy. 2020 Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation Community Service Medal awardee, Army Gulf War era veteran, and learning science PhD student at Georgia State University studying instructional technologies. She is a philanthropist, mentor, serial entrepreneur, and creative content author who incorporates social justice into all aspects of her work. Bridgette founded and is the CEO of Women Veterans Social Justice Network, which is a 501c3 nationally recognized, multi-award winning, all volunteer, multi-platform network supporting and honoring past and present military service women and equipping them for successful advanced executive leadership in philanthropy, entrepreneurship, civic community engagement, and personal economic expansion, which has over 12 years of advocating for veterans, women's, sexual assault survivors, and disabled workers. She can be found on LinkedIn and is reached through LinkedIn messaging. And we are excited to have her a part of the program today. And last up that we will, on this particular panel is Osborne. Osborne Murray is a retired U.S. Army veteran and the founder of Catalyst Charities. Catalyst Charities has two missions. The first is to serve the veterans population addressing issues of homelessness, food insecurity, and other life challenges. The second is to help build bridges between veterans and the civilian business community via business network, political, and civic engagement. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see these lovely faces on the screen now. Welcome, guys, to the show. Thank you so much for taking your time out. And before we just kind of dive into everything, guys, the first question I want to ask, and we're going to let Osborne take a crack at this first. You know, the goal today that AARP wants to do is to assist in building resilience in the lives of veterans, resilience in the lives of veterans as they transition from military service into small business. What comes to your mind when we use that word resilience in terms of military?
Well, to me, especially when you're talking about anything with the military, you have to have relationships. In order relationships, in order to help you help yourself, because I know that this thing, you can't do anything without anybody else, basically, except for a couple of things. But I always believe that, one person is not bigger than the collective. So if we always talk about resilience, we have to build a better community. The community will be resilient if everybody helps each other. So I just believe relationships help build that type of resilience. Okay, because it builds a better foundation for the future and your kids.
Right, it does, and great point. Bridgette, in terms of when we talk about that transition from military service to small business, what comes to your mind with the word resilience?
Well, what comes to my mind is having the ability to boundary cross, to be a serial boundary crosser, meaning that you are in every community, connecting every piece of your knowledge, skills, and abilities to those communities for the growth and development of your business. And so a lot of times we hunker down. If you're an academic, you stay kind of like in your academic circle and you just focus in that focus. If you are in supplier diversity, but you are in the services part of that industry, you stay in that industry. What people have to understand about entrepreneurship, you have to be flexible and, engaging in multiple spheres, because you never know where the opportunity is going to, could come from. So boundary crossing, and most people who are working in the business sector, there's some more research being done on this, but resiliency. And when I look at our veteran community, the ones who are the most successful are, engaged in philanthropy. They're entrepreneurs. They are engaging in various business pursuits. They're in different communities that sometimes they don't look like them. And so that's what I'm saying about resiliency. In order to be resilient, you have to cross boundaries.
Wow. John, you're next up. Resilience.
Yeah, so when I think of resilience, I look back at my military career, as a United States Army Ranger. And the one thing that I look at is literally embracing failure. You cannot be successful if you haven't embraced the fact that you failed, because failure leads to success. And a lot of people run away from feeling anything that that exists within failure. And so with that, embracing the discomfort, right? Because nothing grows in your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. The more you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you will grow. And with that, that means to run towards your weaknesses, own it. There you might not be the best public speaker, you might not be the best person at customer service. Understand that, and then find the people that can round out those things where you fall short in. But the only way to do that is to acknowledge it. And once you kind of put those things in a box of what you're good at and what you're not good at, you could better prepare yourself, your mission, and your business to be extremely resilient for anything in the future.
Okay, great. I'm going to stay with you, John, for a minute. Those service members who are looking at this program today or listening, and they're thinking about, okay, I'm about to transition from military service and I want to start a business. Each of you are going to talk about those experiences. What is the biggest challenge that they need to prepare for? Because I think one of the things that I want a program like this to do is, if I'm in the military and I'm thinking about starting a business, I have nothing to compare it to. And so now the three of you are going to give some nuggets. And so what's the number one thing, John, that you think they need to prepare for that could be an obstacle?
All right. In the military, there's black and white, right and wrong, left fire, right fire. That's your lane. You shooting here. You don't go over this way. You don't go over that way, right? In civilian world, it's not black and white. It's all gray, and there's so many different shades of gray. And sometimes you just don't know what shade of gray you're standing in, because that might not be somebody else's shade of gray. The best thing to do is understand that you're not going to be working with people who are have that military mindset, those go-getters, the driven folks that you're so used to being around. You're not going to find that, out in this world. There's a lot of people that don't want to work. They don't want to show up to work when they need to. They have many excuses. Those things are going to drive you crazy. So understanding that going in, and really learning for yourself to kind of, tuck back your fangs and kind of understand, what life is going to be like. Try to absorb, at least for 1 year, of just getting to know the world around you. I mean, because it's a whole different aspect of life. Sometimes we hit the ground running and we run into a brick wall, because the majority of people out there are not like us. And I know a lot of veterans that get they end up getting fired from the job, or they get promoted to a place where they're taking third shift, where they ain't around nobody because they love them. They don't want to let them go, but they're too intense and they got to put them someplace else. And I talk to a lot of vets like that, and they really get sad because they're trying to give their all. But when you come back out into this world and you're going in the transition, give yourself some time to do the crawl, the walk, and the fly before you just start flying.
Wow. I mean, that as I begin to unpack that, I hear the word patience.
Yep.
I hear the word almost like a support group.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing, I don't want people to think when we say the word support group, that means there's something wrong.
Right.
I think support group means there's no negative in the word support group. It's a support, and it's a group of people who are thinking alike. Bridgette, I mean, what about your experience in terms of that transition? I mean, what can you add to that?
So I'm a Gulf War era veteran. And when I got out, there was no hoorah, we're glad you're home. And then, years later, when I approached the veteran community, because I'm a Gulf War era veteran, not a combat veteran, and a woman, a lot of the spaces were not welcoming and honoring to me. And so that's why I created Women Veteran Social Justice Network, because I wanted a place that would be honoring and welcoming to women veteran, and not just from a perspective of low level, come, wave a banner, get a a pin with a logo on it, but welcoming into the C&B suite, which meant a completely different shift of thinking. Right, this is a different paradigm of getting women veteran into a space of like senior leadership, executive leadership. So for me, the hard part of it is I love what was said earlier about us being intense, because we can be intense, right? But what I would tell someone who's transitioning and is interested in entrepreneurship, use your intensity and your drive for innovation. Don't be scared to get out and create something new, brand new, create a completely new paradigm, and get into spaces like Georgia State has an incubator, Georgia Tech here has an incubator to help you develop a business, and AARP also has tools and resources to help you develop your business, to begin to prepare the business. Get a good mentor, get a good peer who's wanting to start a business, because then you can keep each other, that iron sharpening iron keeps each other alive, because something that one misses, the other one says, hey, did you see it, and gets that other person on board. So it is a mix of having a peer support kind of group, and also having someone in a leadership position who can present you to other people. So one of the bigger challenges I also realize is that we don't know what we don't know. And so when you get in these spaces, you're not even sure about what the protocol is, what the language is, how to, engage, different business leaders and things like that to get support for what you're doing. So having somebody who will sponsor you, present you, someone like a Phyllis Newhouse, who puts you in front of people and says, here's Bridgette, talk to her, she has great ideas. Like, all of those things are very important. And so really you need a board of directors, right, to engage and support you around you. And they need to be varied, they need to be diverse, they don't need to look like you, sound like you, or even have military experience. And so these are kind of the things that I would say to start developing long before you even get out. I would say even while you're serving. Many of the people that I coach, they come to me in the military, and I'm saying these are things you put in place before you get out, because you have the resources to support you while you're developing you as an entrepreneur and developing your revenue generating business, right? So those would be some of the things that I would say.
Oh my God! Now, so unpacking what you said, and I'm just pretending to be a person in the military who's getting ready to transition out. I need to be organized. I've got to have some structure. I just can't jump into what I want to do without understanding that, as John said, it's going to be different. It's a different set of people. And that's not prejudice. That's not division. That's just reality. And so as long as you understand what you're getting into and be prepared for it, and then setting up a circle of trust, I think that's going to help you get through it even more. So Osborne, what you want to add to this?
Well, to be honest, John's right, and Bridgette is totally right. Think about this. It's like when I got out, I thought I was high speed. Well, I knew I was high speed, right? So it's like when you come out into the civilian world, or as I call it, the world, you'll have your paperwork together. I know that I'm going here to get this at this. We'll just use very, very broad terms. I'm going to get this, but I have all my paperwork. You told me I need this, that, and the other. Okay, but then when I get there, oh, you don't have this written in this type form, but this is not what you said. Okay, so I'm reading line for line what you said, and I had this a week early, and I got my little portfolio and everything. And again, it goes back to patience, because you are dealing with a whole set of new rules that you're not used to dealing with. When I say that, what I mean, it's like, because in the military, like John said, it's black and white, or it is or is not, or it is what it is. I've learned that here on the outside, it is what it is, because it's almost like, yeah, we'll get it, but maybe, it's like, but no, that's not what you said. I know that if I'm applying for my veterans let's say I'm trying to work with another company because I want to help, some vets over here start learning how to do cabling or plumbing. So I fill out, I'm giving you an example of what happened. I'm filling out all the paperwork for all the kids to come. And then when I get there, it's like, well, you don't have waiver 4932787. I'm like, what
is that?
What is that? Oh, we just added that last week. That's not on your website though, so, and I get it, again, I think that the biggest thing is patience, one, to come out and deal with everything. And again, I don't want to act like the civilian world is, totally chaotic, but it's not structured in the form that we're used to dealing with. I think that's the best way to put it. Because I know in the morning, everyone knows in the morning, you hear that horn, that trumpet going up, you get up. You have certain times you have to salute the flag, right? When you're going to eat, and when it's time to go to bed, So relationships, patience, and just trying to have as many outlooks as possible. I think that's just the best way to put it, because I know that even when I first started Bourbon and Bow Ties, which is a part of thing, it's just to help veterans who are just starting their business talk to senior entrepreneurs and bring them together. It was almost chaotic because a lot of the folks who were not a veteran business wanted to come in, but they didn't understand the structure that we were trying to do. But I get it. And I'm also, we still work with everybody. And again, it always goes back to your relationships and patience and just trying to see the other person's point of view.
Great.
That's what I say.
Okay. These are great nuggets. And one of the things I want to get into now, people learn by example. And so all of you have successful businesses, and people on the outside, after I read your bio, they're like, oh my God, they do this or they do that. People that know you, respect you. But I want each of you now to talk about your business, but I want you to talk about it not from the good, but talk about an obstacle that you had to run across and how you were able to kind of get over it. And because I want people to be inspired by your journey, not by your success, but your journey, because it's their journey that's going to inspire them to kind of push forward. Let's start with you, John. Kind of tell everybody what you do. And, in getting started, you wasn't always, on TV and doing all this stuff, but, talk about an obstacle that you had to overcome that dealt with this transition. Okay.
Well, when I first got out, I decided I was going to start a farm. I didn't know anything about farming and pig farming at that. But my goal was to one day open up a sexy barbecue joint. And I figured that if I, what would come first, the pigs or the restaurant? And I figured, if I took some time to learn this process of how to create a really good hog, then that I would always have pretty much the vertical integration of my restaurants would be vertically integrated from the supply chain down. And so not knowing anything about that, I put myself into it, understanding that I would fail, understanding that from those failures, success would follow if I stick to it. Coming into this scape, I'm an African-American man in the South. Most of my clients and people that come to the farm are not of my skin color. Most of the people I deal with in business are not of my skin color. So there was always this stigma in the South that you won't make it, as a Black farmer because of the fact that, they're, just inherent, systemic racism. But being in the military, it taught me to kind of rely on myself. And I did hit some roadblocks. I did hit many things. Number one, talking to chefs and realizing that, I might not have the product that they want. This guy won a James Beard winner. He was a James Beard winner, or a Michelin star chef, or an author, or whatever. And so you kind of go up and feel almost a little bit intimidated. Why would they want my stuff? But I had to sit back and look at what I can do instead of what I can't do. And that was the thing. And so when I start focusing on what I can do and who I am, that really kind of, build me up. Yes, I'm a United States Army Ranger. I've done some really cool stuff. and my my pursuit of excellence, I'm going to focus on what I'm doing here. And I remember going into a restaurant, and the guy looked at me. He already had pigs and in his restaurant, and he didn't want what I was serving, and I was about to walk out. But as I walked out, I was kind of nervous, and I turned around and I looked at him and I said, "Sir, let me ask you a question." I said, "How many beers do you serve? How many whiskeys and bourbons do you serve? How many waters do you serve in your restaurant? Obviously, there's many, but why would you only choose to serve one pig from one purveyor and deny your customers this experience?" And I told him, I said, my pigs are from my land, Comfort Farms. This is what we do. The terroir of my land is different than this person. Doesn't mean it's better. But as a restaurant owner or a chef, I think it's prudent on you to make sure that you elevate everybody's product to the same level that you're doing everything else. And from that point onward, I just was a beast. I would go in and I'll make a sale, and I would really poke, chefs and butchers in their chests about, our food, what we're able to do. From a small farm perspective, we in our sales every year, we have achieved amazing things, and I find it fun now. So I took my insecurities, I took the anxiety, I took all the things that were causing me trouble, and I turned around and I used that, and I eat it every day. I love when somebody tells me no, and that's the main thing, because it's my challenge to make them say yes.
John, I tell you, man, the thing that inspired me from hearing your story, I took that you were insecure, you were nervous when you was getting ready to walk out that door, but something inside of you made you turn around. Something inside of you, as me listening and not knowing, could have been, this is all I got. I mean, if I don't do it now, because I'm always going to hear no. I'm always going to be told I'm not good enough. But something on the inside of you was able to kind of turn you around and go back in and face your fears. And I'm sure that had maybe a lot to do with your military upbringing, a lot to do with your experiences, but you was able to transition that into this new world now. And man, I applaud you for that. That is amazing. And, I think servicemen and women who are listening to this, who are about to, transition into the civilian world, you're getting some great nuggets today. And if you have questions, you can put them up in the box, and our producer, Jessica, will see that and pop them up on the screen. I want to go next to Bridgette. Bridgette, I want you to talk about, from the standpoint of being a female, being an African-American female, I mean, that whole, because I know we have some service women that are listening to you. So I want you to give them some nuggets too. So let's talk about what you do, but, some of the challenges that you had to face too, but, you were able to overcome.
Yeah, the intersectional identities of being a veteran, a woman, a Black woman, a disabled woman, a woman over 50, like all of those things can be challenging if you're trying to, garner support for a new idea. In my case, my idea was emerging, right? I was using technology. I was putting, women veteran first and talking about things from that perspective. And so what I met up against was, folks saying, hey, well, why are you trying to separate veteran? Why does it have to be about being Black? Why does it have to be about being a woman? And so the difficulty was about getting people to understand that it wasn't so much that it was about those things, but that the nuances within those elements of the identity created other spaces where there were services and resources that we needed, that we were not, and so I'm kind of the accidental nonprofit, CEO and founder. I didn't start the organization as an organization. It was a community group of support to women who had experienced various challenges in the community, from TBI, combat trauma, to PTSD from military sexual trauma. And so it was really about just, help building a community. And then within that, giving information and resources so that people could be successful, right? And so within that, I found that most of my community were tech gamer chicks, if you will, and women who wanted to start businesses or had these kind of home-based business ideas. They were crafters and creators. And so, I just began to go into every community and say, how can we develop spaces for women to be successful from an entrepreneurial point of view, not for therapeutic means? Because I know there's, I worked with organizations like Military Experience in the Arts and things like that to support, people transitioning and writing and creating art and things of that nature. But how can we transition so that women could have that space so that they could be successful entrepreneurs? And so, that began this whole kind of journey, becoming the subject matter expert in different spaces. Because if I didn't understand a space, I went to that space and said, who leads in this space and who's doing, great things. Let me talk to you. How can we get more women involved in this particular area of work? And, that launched me into a completely different space of advocacy and going before lawmakers and having these conversations. Now, for me, I'm not a lawmaker. People think I'm a lawyer. They think I work for the VA. And I'm like, well, you have to mingle with these kinds of communities to be successful in talking to them and translating your language and your challenges into their speak. So these things, that became like the process for me. I was not successful. I still struggle with, feeling like I haven't done enough and that there's more to be done, because there's always going to be more that you can do. But you have to kind of break it down and say, this is what I can do for today, and just keep moving forward. If I was going to speak to women today and say to them, especially entrepreneurs, like, you're worthy. Like, don't let anyone tell you that your idea, your concept is not valuable. It may need some tweaking. You may need to understand more about revenue and how to develop that. And it may mean that you may need some supports, but don't let anybody take that dream from you to be an entrepreneur, because you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a 15 products that you're out there selling or one idea that you have close to your heart, right? The identity of being an entrepreneur doesn't change. You're always, if it's in your heart. I was selling candy to my elementary school peers when I was in the 4th and 5th grade. So if you're an entrepreneur, it's in you. So let someone help develop and develop that, and get within a community of people who will support you and cheer you on through, like John was saying, from the success or the failure. They would cheer you on and say, you're doing a great job, and keep going. So I don't know if I answered enough of that, but I feel like I touched some of the main points.
No, you did. And I think, because I'm trying to unpack these nuggets to help our viewers, because I want them to listen freely and absorb. It's kind of hard, to multitask, but we have to multitask. I just kind of want them to sit back and absorb this. But one of the things that I took from your answer, Bridgette, was you almost have to be a sponge. And you can't be closed-minded to, I'm going to start this business, but I'm not going to, this is all I'm thinking about. But, if John only thought about pigs and then think about, the business and the communication skills of communicating what I do to someone else, right, his pigs mean nothing. So I think like you said, you have to kind of go into those circles and understand their language. So it should be a new and exciting journey, but you just can't be, told so tunnel vision. Because, like, coming from that world, like John said, black, white, left, right, in this world that you're entering, coming out of the military, it's not like that. It's wide open. So you're going to have to kind of learn a little bit about multiple things, not just your thing. And so, Osborne, let's talk about what you do. Let's talk about some of the obstacles that maybe you have to reach. I love this bourbon bow ties, and we'll definitely and tell me after you talk about that, where did that idea come from? The bourbon and bow ties. Don't do it right now, but let it be the last thing you do, because in our culture, words pop. Bourbon and bow ties, sundresses and skirts, or whatever. I mean, there's always something that grabs our attention. But tell us about what you do.
Well, thank you. Kalea's Charities came about when I first got out of the military. I was leaving Fort Benning, and I was recovering from an injury. I had a broken neck. I had a stroke. It took me 1.5 years to start walking again. It took another 2 years to start, speaking correct, between my back, wrist being broken in 4 places, it took me to a place where I felt like I was at my lowest. I had to do something. So when I came back to Atlanta and we were driving through and I saw all of these folks that were on the street. I don't know if a lot of folks are familiar with Peachtree and Pine. There was a huge homeless shelter there that actually went from one block to the other. And I went by there and I just couldn't believe the amount of people that were out there. So what I did was my first service thing that I did in Atlanta, with my knee braces and canes and everything else, I got out the car and I came back that weekend and I had a 20-foot barbecue pit. And we served hamburgers, chicken, hot dogs, and stuff like that. And I said, well, I want to make sure that we help our homeless and our homeless veterans. So from there, it got me to start thinking about what can change. And so I remember working when I was at Howard. I worked with a lot of people. A lot of people don't say he was good, but I think he was a great man. Marion Barry. He showed me a lot in politics. I got a chance to work with his campaign and everything like that. And he showed me a lot about how to move your neighborhood forward. And I think that once you get out there and grassrooted, as they say, or boots on the ground, you'll see what's going on. You'll be able to answer questions and people will be familiar with you and not just think you're coming in and trying to do a Band-Aid type fix. From there, that started Calais Charities, which is my nonprofit, which helps, again, it's a veteran service organization that helps here in the metro area. From there, I started working at the Capitol with a senator and with a House of Representative, and started working on legislation for vets and also for other issues also. So that got me into the political realm, which allowed me to step, as Bridgette said, to get in these different corridors that you normally wouldn't get into. And it allowed me to understand what it took to make things happen and make things move. So from there, we started feeding and it became a really good thing, so we got up to 450 people a month. We have a regular MLK day of service, which we do. We always serve 450, 400, 500 people. We got another one coming up also. And we just did our 9/11. I think that part right there, to start the business, you have to see a cause. I think, again, let me back up a little bit. When you're in the military, you try to see what the problem is and how to fix it. You look at other examples of how people have done it before. And if you got good mentors, they'll show you the pathway to get there. And then you can actually go upon it or do better on it or fix it up even better. And that was what I wanted to do. Dealing with a lot of things, let's say political issues, it's a lot of challenges when it comes to the homeless and how to actually feed or take care of them. I don't believe that we should actually just continue just to feed, because that's only putting a Band-Aid on the situation. And that brought about Bourbon and Bow Ties. Bourbon and Bow Ties is where you try to take people not only from the streets, but a lot of them also have skills, but they don't know how to move that skills into their own business, or to move that business or move their skills into something that, like you said, they can do cabling, they can do plumbing, but they want to start their own thing, but they have this issue where they don't have an address or they don't have what other thing they might need. And that's where we bring it to them, bring the experts in, bring them in, and we merge them together. And it brings a type of closeness and a way to patch things up and to move it forward. I call it the blueprint, because nothing's actually changed on success. If you follow, even with Warren Buffett, he's done the same thing that somebody else has already done. You think about it. If I want to open up a bank, there's certain steps to it. I just never read the blueprint, or I don't have that connect to take me to show me that blueprint. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to make sure that we show you the blueprint so you don't have to worry about hitting those obstacles and losing all of that extra money that normally you would do. Like John said, when he started his farm, he didn't know anything about it. But if you had that person, hey, John, you got to do this, that, and the other, and then you can go, you more than likely you'll have success, but you got to do the selling part too. Of course, you got to do that. But yeah, I think that I hope I answered that right, but it kind of went a little bit far. But yeah, I mean, again, I think, you have to see what you want, make a plan, follow that plan. And if you have a great mentor, that will be great. Again, the obstacles, the biggest obstacles were, again, learning the landscape. And once I learned the landscape somewhat, the political landscape, because everyone knows Atlanta is a very political place. That's the best way I could put it right now. As you know, we had this very crazy mayor race, and we'll see what happens from there. But again, following the get a very good mentor, try to do as best as you can to not step on too many toes, but persistence.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to ask our producer to leave all of us on the screen for a minute. Before I get into the next segment, we got a question from someone who's viewing from Vanessa. Josh, is someone working with the children of these homeless veterans? Are the programs in Atlanta? If you don't know, if none of the three of you know the answer to that, I may have to bring up Jill. Anyone know the answer to that? Is someone working with the children of these homeless veterans? Are there programs in Atlanta?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bridgette.
Go ahead. Whoever.
I know that the Nicholas House has a program there also, where, because they, when you talk about homeless families, a lot of times they wouldn't take the husband, but they'll take the wife and the children. Mm-hmm. So what they have a program there also, and also Solomon's Temple. They help the mothers and the children. They have their programs there also. So I would check those two facilities out first.
Give those two again.
The Solomon's Temple and the Nicholas House.
Okay. Great.
They're both Solomon's Temple's in the south, and Nicholas House is in the city.
Great. Thank you. Once again, we are having our inaugural Veterans Entrepreneurship Summit, and we guest today John Jackson, Bridgette Mccoy, and Osborne McMurray, and we thank you so much for being a part of us. Bridgette, you talked about getting back to your sponge comment in terms of being all things and trying to learn how to communicate. Let's just say someone is getting out early, they're under 50, and they're getting ready to get out of the military and start their business. Well, the last thing they're thinking about is AARP. Tell them why they should think about AARP.
Well, AARP is amazing. There's a suite of information related. Most of the information says for 50 and over, but I'm going to be very frank with y'all. I was an AARP member probably when I was in 42 or 43. I thought it was important to get established in the community with AARP and begin to dig back into the information and resources. So I would tell someone to, to engage at that level, begin to do your research. I always ask people, why are you leaving right now? If you don't have to leave right this moment, can you extend 6 months? Can you stay in another year? Because that will give you enough time to do all of this research. Most of the people who are in the military, you most times you have a 9-to-5 job unless you're deployed in active, combat. Mm-hmm. But if you're in an office setting, take that time to, go through Skills Bridge, go through different programs to see what's out there, what industry you want to be in, because everybody gets out and wants to be a project manager or operations or human services. And that bugs me. Forgive me, y'all that are in that industry, but that bugs me to no end, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of other industries. And then no one really engages in tech and innovation. I'm in public interest technology or civic technologies industry now. I'm developing myself in that industry more and more. So those are opportunities. So I would say begin to look at different things. Don't just do what everybody else is doing. Begin to look. You got the internet. We have Google. It's your friend. Use it. Take an opportunity to engage, beyond that. Find a mentor. You can go on LinkedIn, scroll through the different people that you know, and then look at the jobs that they're doing, and then look at the people that they're connected to. They may potentially hold, your next business venture. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to settle on this. If you're going to get into business, create a revenue generating model. Please don't focus on just your logo and your colors and what your website's going to look like. Please don't spend money getting coaches who are going to tell you what you want to hear and not develop you to know what a business model canvas is and know how to do a value proposition and all those types of things. Please, please, please don't get out and spend tens of thousands of dollars doing that. And 4 years later, we're still having a conversation with you about the fact that you want to start a business and you spent tens of thousands of dollars and you still do not have a revenue generating business.
Right.
Please,
break it down even further. That was the professional way of saying, let's have a revenue generating model. Break it down in layman's terms. Why
you need, if you're going to sell a widget,
right?
If you're going to create a widget, price your widget based on what the market is. If everybody else is making cups with pretty designs on them, it doesn't mean that you can't do that. It just means that you have to, have some factor about something about your cups or your mugs that is different from everyone else. And you have to find a community that is excited about your product as much as you are. And then you have to sell it for a price, right? You can't just give it away or just have a bunch of them in your closet. You have to get out and sell. And I think that was something that's important that we, definitely have a conversation about. You need to be a salesman. I think both the gentlemen on this panel said that very clearly. You're going to have to open your mouth and tell people about your product and convince them one way or the other that the product that you have is going to help them to make more money. Because that's what it's about. It's not about they like you. It's not none of that. It's about your product or your service is going to help that other business make money. So, again, y'all can call me and send me a message on LinkedIn if you need some help. But those are the types of things that are very important. I would not suggest people who have a career in the military and do not have to retire or get out right away to do that if they don't have to. I would leverage the space of being in the military and the resources that are there at the same time and do the same, dual role, develop your business and continue your military service. But if you got to get out, definitely have you a circle of influential people who can help, you mastermind the next move for your entrepreneurial venture.
Great. John, let's talk to that military person who's got thousands of dollars saved up, think he got the plan, I got the money, I'm going to start this business, and let's say it's six figures, and they just, since they have the money, they think they have the ways and means to do what they need to do. Tell them it's more than that.
Oh man, it is so more than that. I'm gonna tell you what we did over at Comfort Farms, because number one, in the food industry in Georgia, farming, agriculture is the number one industry in Georgia. So it's 74 to 60 or $76 billion industry. The second industry is agritourism. A lot of people see me on Facebook, they see me on Instagram, they think, man, if he can do it, I can do it. Not knowing that it takes a really psychotic person to do this job and do it well, right? You got to be just throttled down, keep on going. But one of the things I realized is that there are a lot of people who are coming out, a lot of veterans who are coming out who do have, a beautiful nest egg, and they want to go into cattle, or they want to do this or open up a business anywhere in the agriculture industry because that's what they want to do. I realized one of the best values that I can give to our system of veterans is to do something that wasn't there for me. And one of my goals was to open up and start a school, which I did. We just won a grant, just a little bit over $1 million for 3 years. And I hired Central Georgia Technical College, and I created for them a sustainable agricultural small farmers technician program. And we use Comfort Farm as the lab. And so what that's been able to do, it's to get these veterans in who really want to do this work. But for 17 weeks, we take them through the whole industry of Georgia on agriculture. So that way they can understand the bits and pieces. A lot of people want to go to cattle until they work with cattle and get kicked in the chest and they realize, man, I want to go work with rabbits. I don't want to work with cattle, So it's one of those things that we're able to, with this program is, that learning curve is so high. but with this program, we actually plateau that out about halfway. And I'm proud to announce that I have veterans now who do have a beautiful nest egg. They took this course, graduated from this course, they're alumni of this course, and they saved so much money and time. And so what I would recommend, any industry that you're interested in, go out, volunteer, explore that industry, learn that industry, become a subject matter expert on the things that you want to do. Learn all the auxiliary parts of that industry, because you might find out that, you know, being in the industry, doing the thing is not really your thing, but you could also support that thing where you could make others shine. And that in itself is another big thing. Like, you know, Bridgette talked about, you know, being able to cross over boundaries. You know, that wheel, in the middle of that wheel, there are tons of spokes, you know, that's coming off that hub to make that wheel turn. And it's going to take many different spokes that's connected to that hub to make it go around. You just got to find where you are in that. And once you find your niche within that, go ahead, absorb it, learn everything that you can, and give yourself some time before you start, you know, going to the bank and putting all your investment in that thing.
Wow. You know, as I sit here listening to you, the first thing I think about is, if I'm the smartest person in my group, I'm in the wrong group.
You're in the wrong group.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's, you know, I'm going back to a world that I don't know, which is military. And, you know, I can assume you get accustomed to being around a group of people that are helping you on your direction and your job and this, that, and the other. But then you come out into another world, you know, it's hard. It sounds like it could be hard to transition from the standpoint of, look, I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing, but I know what I'm doing. But the person you think they don't know what they're doing is the one who has the resources and able to communicate what you need to get what you want. Mm-hmm. And so I think you have to put yourself in a circle where you are learning from others. You've got to do that, because if you're not, you're taking a chance, and it's already a chance in anything that you do anyway, but you're taking a chance, and, you know, risk, take that risk down by putting yourself in circles that you can learn from. Mm-hmm. Osborne, how did AARP play a part into what you're doing?
Well, let me go back. What I'm doing right now is AARP has helped out a lot with partnering, especially with the homeless. Every time we need help or anything like that, they've always been there. Especially, you know, you go out and you ask what the person may need. Most of the time they're asking for underwear, t-shirts, socks. You know, a lot of folks like to give, you know, those little things you get from the hotels. And but that really doesn't go far at all. AARP has always been there to help with me giving the supplies out. I think I got in trouble a lot of times because what I was doing for the last, since 4 years, is I was funding everything through HNB, which is Hip National Bank, my own pocket. And it became, you know, I really didn't even care, because I said, this has to be done. This has to be done. So now that I'm actually learning from others, again, you go back to relationships. They're showing me about, you know, how to get grants and things like that. And even with talking to Jill, she's shown me and introduced me to the people that are allowing me to actually go after those things, because we have the book of work to show everything that we've done. Because, I mean, honestly, when I first got out of the military, I really thought I was going to go back and work at Fort Meade and keep doing counterintelligence and stuff like that. And then I got into, you know, the politics thing and working at the Capitol. I was like, oh, this is where I want to be at, because we are actually changing things, changing lives, and I'm learning how this actual motor works. Because, you know, to do legislation, it's really a lot more than just, you know, as that thing used to be on Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know if anybody's that old enough to know what that is. You know, I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'm only a bill.
Capitol Hill.
You know, yeah, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. You know, you have to have a lot of people and backing and groups to actually push that and get the attention of that person who you want to push the bill and bring it to the well. If they don't even bring it to the well, even if they bring it to the well, they still got to convince their other people in the House or the Senate to vote on that for you. So I love politics, but then I don't like politics. But I like, nonprofit work, but then I don't like nonprofit work because it's got these spokes. There you go, John. All these spokes. You got to figure out how to navigate this thing, and you start thinking about it, and we talk about real world stuff that's affecting people.
Right.
You think about legislation that will help with your retirement. You think about stuff that will help with police officers or the community, but to go back into it, just to bring it all home again, as long as you have a good network to work with, everything will work out. Schoolhouse Rock, exactly. It did teach us a lot. So
guys, we're coming to the end. We got a few minutes left. This has been amazing, the first panel, and I want to kind of go around the room one more time, last time, and just talk about some things that you've got coming up or how they can reach you. I'm sure there have been some people that have been inspired by each of the stories that you have gave. So how can they contact you or reach out to you or find out more about what you do? Let's start with you, Bridgette.
Oh, so you can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best place to reach out to me. We do have a Facebook page and Instagram and all that. But if you're looking to reach to talk to any of us, our ambassadors. So we have an ambassadors program. We've had an ambassadors program since 2014, where we develop women into entrepreneurship, philanthropy, civics, running for office, whatever it is they want to do, as long as it's at the top, the highest echelon of that, highest level of that area, that's what we're doing. So if you're interested in being developed or mentored to in any aspect, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn, on our Women Veteran Social Justice Network LinkedIn page. If you're on Facebook, you can follow us there. If you're interested in professional coaching or anything like that, you can reach me on LinkedIn as well. So that's the best way to reach me.
And you know what, Ms. McCoy, congratulations on being a recent recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. I know we all have titles, but I think that's one that we're all proud of. And on behalf of everyone that's listening and watching in this program, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to have that, and to be, like I said, a boundary crossing person, working and collaborating with other organizations, trying to make it better for veteran. Period. And so that's my heart. And so, like Osborne said, nonprofit and legislation and all that is difficult, but when you get an accolade like that, it makes it all worth the hard work. So.
Great. And John, how can they reach you? When I know we can turn on CNN or ABC or one of those TV shows and find, but how can we reach out and text you?
All right, man. Best way to reach out to me is Comfort Farms, Facebook and Instagram. Send that to me. You can at least reach out to me on TikTok. I got a TikTok now. Hey, don't laugh now. I tell you, get on. I don't care how old you is. Get on TikTok. All right, TikTok. Okay. John Jackson 75, and then my LinkedIn account. This January we are doing our 5th annual Les Pieds du Mont Boucherie, means the butcher at the foot of the mountain, and it's to honor our vets and their sacrifices. It's our 5th year. It's I'm going to go out and say it is the best foodie event in the nation going on in January on Martin Luther King's birthday weekend. But one of the things that we're really going to focus on the 5th. On our 5th anniversary is really on our Heritage Day. We bring out celebrity chefs, we have butchers, we have all these folks. But this particular one is going to be special because we're actually going to be focusing on women, veteran farmers who are women, wives of veterans. We're going to be focusing on women in the open fire cook space. So this, we're going to have all women butchering team going out here. This is the type of thing that, as our 5th year, I feel that women vets being in this space, have been so underrepresented, and I hate that my sisters from all walks of life who served in the military have to go in and really explain themselves much harder than their male counterparts for the struggles that they have. I get folks calling me all over the country. A lot of them women who are just living in their cars because, they're going through and they don't get the representation that they deserve. And so I'm going to use my platform to do some good. I am not put out there. I'm not a feminist by any means. I'll let you guys know that I'm not a feminist, but I do appreciate what our women have brought to the table, how we work together, and their strength and ability to do amazing things. So, Bridgette, I'm going to reach out to you. I would love to invite you out to our event this year. Osborne, I really need to get in touch with you too, because I think there's some really good symbiotic relationships that we could probably assist with. I would love to donate a hog to you guys, every year that you guys are doing some work, so we could go ahead and work on that. And Garrett, I really want to talk to you about really taking us African foodways and doing plays and talking about our stories of
Sure.
old, 1700, 1800 stuff, see how we could really bring all this stuff together. Cause I'm big into our Southern foodways in the African diaspora. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Great, man. Thank you. And finally, Osborne, you got the last word.
Thank you, Garrett. I just remembered where I met you at in Jacksonville, Florida. You were doing a play there, I think. And it was, I was like, I know this guy. The voice, you can remember a voice, but he gave me the tickets were so far in the back, I had nosebleed. But
here we go. But she was in the house.
I was in the house, though. I was in the house. What we're doing is, Bourbon and Bow Ties is coming up, which for the last 6 months, we have been focusing basically on women entrepreneurship. Because I think that, and don't get me wrong, I know that, when people say, oh, you're only focusing on women, no, it's not that. But what we were doing was because what I was doing and I was thinking is because, one, you think about the community, you think about our community, the backbone of the community is mostly the women. Okay, so, and if you promote, anytime you could tell the way that a community is by the way the community treats its women. So what we've been doing is basically spotlighting women businesses, women who are at the top of their games. We also have this thing, what we're doing right now is the Female Entrepreneur of the Year that we're giving the award to at Bourbon and Bow Ties. And it has become a very, very big following. We have a lot of people that are coming in. We started the beginning of this year with like 20 people. Now we have close to 100 trying to sign up every month. So what we're going to start doing in January from on is starting every first Friday. We will have a Bourbon and Bow Ties event featuring entrepreneurship and how to develop entrepreneurship. I would love for both of you to come because I know that one, we have a lot of people who want to be farmers. We have they're called society gardeners. And they do a lot of gardening inside the city, John, and also Bridgette. I would love for you to come because the fact of the women focus. I know, but I would like to have experts there who are actually in the field doing what they do, boots on the ground, as we call it, right? So the biggest thing we have coming up is the Bourbon and Bow Ties Masquerade Ball on the 21st. The barbecue at the end of the year for the homeless, and then the Martin Luther King MLK thing in January. So, and they can reach me at, I'm sorry, Garrett, on LinkedIn, and you can also reach me on Facebook under Calais Cares, that's CALALUS Cares, or charities.
Okay.
And we'll be there. So, and if you need help, just let us know. We bring out supplies to the homeless all the time.
John Osborne, I'm going to be in Atlanta at your 2 events. I'll be there. Just make sure I can get in.
you show Jill. I'm waiting for Jill, but yeah, if you just come on, you're welcome. And I hope all of you guys can come because you're invited, special guests. So I'm telling you, you will not want to miss it.
Right. You guys have been great. This has been a great panel. I'm sure that A lot of people have been inspired and getting some great nuggets today. Thank you so much. We're going to take a break now. If you just joining in and tuning in, you're actually looking at the inaugural Veterans Entrepreneur Summit. Brought to you by AARP Georgia. You hear the train in the background. One's going downtown, but right, that lets me know that we got a commercial break coming up, and we're going to play this video and let you know about what's taking place today.
Hello, I'm Joanne Jenkins, Chief Executive Officer of AARP, America's largest membership organization serving people age 50 and over. With more than 5 million of our 38 million members currently or previously having served in the military, we're on a mission to support veterans and military families. That's why we've created a wide range of free resources, tools, and community programs to help veterans and military families navigate their options and meet challenges head-on. We've developed a job board that directly connects veterans and military spouses to employers wanting to hire them. And we have free resources that provide some military structure to starting a business. We know that when you're a military veteran caregiver, you start younger, care longer, and face many unique challenges. That's why AARP provides a free military caregiving guide containing important and timely information that you truly need. Because military veterans or service members are twice as likely to be a target for fraud, the AARP Fraud Watch Network, in partnership with Operation Protect Veterans, provides free action alerts detailing the latest scams directed at veterans and military families. And through our state offices nationwide, AARP can help you find the right opportunity to give back to your community and fellow veterans. To learn more about these and other resources, visit aarp.org/veterans. Thank you.
And welcome back. We had an exciting first hour at the Veterans Entrepreneur Summit. And now it's time for our second panel. I'm going to introduce our second panel. First up is Nasir Jokum. He is the founder of marketing and branding agency called Royalty Ads. He also helps entrepreneurs across the globe build up the confidence and skills to show up on video. Nasir is based in Atlanta, GA, but originally from Middletown, and where he moved to Atlanta, that is when he really grew into his own, from working on sets with major stars like Keke Palmer and Queen Latifah to attending New York Fashion Week show and so much more. He also worked in the hospitality industry for years, becoming one of the youngest assistant general managers of Marriott. He then took all those skill sets and experience and built his own business from that. Now he's been featured on podcasts, magazines, and his social media influencer. Today, Nasir is sharing all of his tips and skills to help you build your own business and opportunities for yourself. And I can't wait to for you guys to meet and to talk to Nasir. Next up is Glenn Brooks, and I had an opportunity to be on one of his podcasts the other day. He is a great guy. More than 30 years, Glenn has been leading people in the professional and personal life to discover who they are and teaching them to connect with others to achieve success. Glenn first discovered his ability to lead while in JROTC in high school, and during his tenure in the U.S. Army, he developed the discipline and skills to lead others. He has been able to successfully transition his leadership skills from the military into his life as leaders in the ministry and in business. Glenn is very passionate and a motivational speaker who has the ability to connect to his audience and inspire them to grow. As founder and CEO of Glenn P. Brooks Jr. LLC, Glenn facilitates professional development training and individual leadership coaching to business executives, small business owners, middle managers, and entry-level leaders. And we are going to be blessed by Glenn today. And then finally, our final panelist for today is none other than Melinda Sylvester. A faithful servant who shares the love of Jesus Christ, is the founder, president, and CEO of the Georgia Greater Black Chamber of Commerce located in Fayetteville, serving the greater state of Georgia. Melinda's chamber career started when she led the Greater Southwest Louisiana Black Chamber of Commerce. Under her leadership, won National Black Chamber of the Year for its honorable Hurricane Katrina, using innovations and technology, assisting business in desired and despaired and dispersed from New Orleans. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet our our panelists for today. And we're going to jump right in just a minute. But guys, thank you so much for taking part in our inaugural Veterans Entrepreneur Summit. The first hour, there was some great nuggets. I know we're going to have some more nuggets today because you guys are the headliners. So first up, before we kind of jump into it, we're talking about that transition from military service to small business. Let's start off with you, Nasir. In reading your bio, can you tell me about how you went from, working for everyone else? What clicked to make you say, you know what, I'm gonna start my own?
Yeah, so that's a great question. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. And it's such an honor to be on this panel with all of you stunning individuals. So for me, entrepreneurship has always been in my blood. My mom, she's actually an entrepreneur. She's actually works at the City Hall here in Atlanta. She's one of their top accountants. And also my dad is an entrepreneur. So he is a real estate investor, and he does some other stuff as well. So I've always grown up in the entrepreneur space. So when I became an AGM for Marriott, and I realized that I'm able to manage people. I managed over 150 people at one time. And I've traveled the US to multiple different hotels, so from Hilton, IHG, and Marriott. So I realized that when you're at that stature in management, you're running an entire property by yourself. So I realized that I can take those same skill sets and actually implement those into a business. I learned how to do accounting. I learned how to manage. I learned how to make decisions on profits, revenues, GOPs, and all of that good stuff. So the skill sets that you have now within your current 9-to-5 are transferable into a business with the correct clarity, strategy, and so much more. So thank you so much for having me. We can't hear you, Glenn. I'm
sorry. So we're going to get into a little bit more about what you do, because I'm sure there are some military people who want to know exactly how to market. This whole social media thing, sometimes can be overwhelming, but you're going to break it down to us in just a little bit. Glenn, man, you're always working, you're always connecting people. What was it about you that said, you know what, I want to, because when I read your bio, it just seemed like you're the type of person who always want to connect people. You're the type of person who always want to make sure, the person is connected to get them to the next level. Where did it come from?
Well, first of all, I just want to say huge thank you to you guys for having me. This is an absolute honor. I'm privileged to be here. But to answer your question, Garrett, I'll be really honest with you, man. I've been that way since I was a little boy. I remember a story when my mother told me that at 3 or 4 years old, I'm having grown conversations with adults in the pediatrician lobby. Like, I've always been a connector. I like to tell people that I'm a relationship development specialist. I do that in two spaces, one in the personal development space as a relationship coach, but also do it in the professional development space as a business coach. And I've always believed that in order to get to any place of significance, you can't do that by yourself. We all need some help. And I believe it. It's the way I live my life. As great as I am at a very few things, there's a bunch of things I'm really stink at. And if it's not for the team that's assembled around me, I am not where I am today. And yeah, man. So it's been that way all my life. I don't even know where God gave it to me, I guess, to be really honest.
Okay, great. So, Black business owner, and then in terms of who we, Ms. Sylvester, how did you get involved with the chamber? How did you get involved with when someone says Chamber of Commerce and working with a lot of Black businesses, that sounds like it'd be overwhelming. It also sounds like it'd be like, okay, that's a pot I don't want to deal with. But you're able to kind of navigate through waters and make people interested in being a part of having their business a part of something bigger.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was an interesting story. I was a journalist, actually started in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I would go to the chamber meetings and make my 2 cents and saying, you should do this or you should do that. So they unanimously nominated me as the president of the chamber. And I said, I don't know anything about a chamber. But the whole board said, well, we want Melinda to be our president. So actually they chose me and I didn't chose them. But it has been a great time. We've done some great work, won national awards, and it has been very interesting. So when I relocated from Louisiana to Georgia, right, my mentors, Kate and Harry Alfred, the late Kate Alfred, they said, I had said, when I get to Georgia, I was going to start a Black chamber. Well, I didn't remember this. And then I told them, I said, well, you know, I live in Fayette County and you want me to start a Black chamber there? And so Harry said, yes, and I'll come to your launch. So we came to our launch. They came to our launch from Washington, D.C., and we had a packed room. We couldn't fit no other people in the room. It was great. Mr. Shelley Butch Anthony III allowed us to use his event space at This Is It in Fayetteville and has housed us ever since. We started in 2016. So we're 5 years old. And according to Georgia, it has been beautiful because Georgia is very interesting and a lot of great things happening. So we just want to thank AARP for being our partner. We thank the state of Georgia for creating a space and place for us to operate. And again, we just thank everybody that volunteers and participates. We have been doing some great, great work.
Great, great. One of the things I want to talk about with this particular group is the importance of relationships. So before we get into your business, let's focus on panel. You know, we've got potential military personnel who's thinking about, starting a business, that whole transition. Let's talk about how important relationships are before we get into your specific job. Let's start with you, Melinda. In terms of, I have a business. Why is it important that I join a chamber? And now you want me to join a Black chamber. So why is it? Let's talk about the benefits of joining a chamber, just joining a chamber if I'm a business owner.
Oh, great, great. This is why you should join a chamber. Let's go to the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce. We are the bridge builders. It is so important to say relationships. Relationships are crucial in businesses. So the chamber helps you collaborate. We help you plant that opportunity for relationships, network. You're not alone. You have a support team. And when you think about it, and I'm going to go back to chamber. Chamber advocate. We're advocate. There's the sessions coming up again. We're going to be looking at what's good policies for businesses, especially Black businesses. As we go back to the peak of the pandemic, 41% of Black business shut down. So why a Black chamber and why be connected? We were able to help so many businesses through the process of the PPP loans. If everyone remember, at the first round of the stimulus, we couldn't get any loan because what? We didn't have relationship with bankers. Financial institutions say, well, hold on, I don't know who you are. You're knocking on my door and you want some money. So this is where a chamber come in. We had relationships with banks that we were able to help businesses stay and sustain. And I must say this, we have some successful stories out of this where businesses are expanding. We have one builder, he's working on a $275 million development. We have another, we're working with 3 young ladies who are creating a city called Freedom, Georgia. This is going to be in excess of $1 billion. So we have some exciting, working with a mayor, we're going to do a tech center. So out of those relationships, we were able to do some great things. We were one of the few chambers that were meeting with the governor, which is, and sharing our story. Look, this is the work we're doing, and this is where we need support from the state. So relationship is key, and relationship help us sustain, and relationship help us grow in this pandemic.
Wow. So we're going to come back to you in just a little bit and talk more about how do you join a chamber and all that. But I mean, that's great. So I think a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. When we're getting business and we're thinking about I need money to keep my doors open. I need money for the light bill. I need money for my phone bill. I need to pay employees. I don't have finances to join the chamber. I'll do that later. But I think it's important that we need to know what we don't know. And so we're going to come back to you about that chamber the importance of being a part of the chamber just a little bit. Glenn, I want to talk to you about when we are in business. A lot of times we can be closed-minded and not look at other resources or look at other channels. Most recently, I was on Clubhouse, and I'm just being introduced to Clubhouse. I kind of want you to go into the avenues of why we need to look at resources like Clubhouse and to be a part of, to be introduced to other people about relationships that can help us grow.
Well, that's a great question, Garrett. I know for me, back, and all of us remember when the pandemic hit back in 2020 and it really got into the onsets of us being quarantined, I realized really quickly that my ability to reach out and connect to people was just changed and just shifted dramatically. In the business that I am, it's critical that I'm able to reach and connect with people. Traditionally, you do that by getting out of your office, getting on a plane, in my case, going to conferences or whatever the case may be. But all of that came to a screeching halt. So in order to kind of reach out and develop the ability to connect to others and for me to collaborate, I had to figure out mediums that would do that. Now, full disclosure, I was a Zoom guy since 2016. When we built our business, we built it with the internet in mind from day one. And so even as a coach, I leaned into that online coaching space all the way back then. So by the time the pandemic came, this was old hat to me. I'm sorry I didn't buy stock in Zoom prior to the pandemic. You feel me? Because it would have been a whole different situation. But the truth is that collaborations are critical when building relationships. And I think about platforms like a Clubhouse that makes it so easy to do because it was built with the idea. The founders say it this way. They say, we wanted to create intimacy at scale. And so if you think about a medium that allows you to go into, let's just say a job fair or some kind of conference at some convention center, that's Clubhouse. The individual workshops inside of that conference, those are the rooms that you get to go in. And everybody has their own room and have the ability to do it. When we hosted you guys, we brought you into our room, which we run Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to about 8:30. It's called Lessons Learned in Business. How can we help? And the whole premise of that room is to bring entrepreneurs, business owners, and ministry leaders into one space, particularly for those that are either frustrated with the process of trying to grow and connect and get out of their own way, and then those who've mastered something. And so they have no problem coming together, connecting, and telling you exactly how they did it for free. Now, the opportunity to do business with people there, immense. The opportunity to connect with people there, absolutely off the chain. Why? Because they're coming to you. And so if you were to lean in and decide, you know what, I'm going to learn a new thing. That's where I met Nasir for the first time. And I was so excited to see him here. Like, I didn't know that he was going to be. And I'm thinking, Nasir, dude, you look nothing like you sound. I love this brother. He is absolutely amazing at what he does. And I met him on Clubhouse. This is the first time I get to see him face to face because of that event. Gary Vaynerchuk said this. He said, social media is the gateway drug to real relationships. And I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna really press everybody who's listening. Start thinking of new, innovative ways to get out of your own way, to get into a space where you can meet people intentionally. But yeah, I know that was a long way around, man. But I'm really passionate about this subject for sure.
Yeah. I just think when it comes to Clubhouse, a lot of people are hearing the term like, oh, "What are you talking about?" So let's break it down even further and try to give them paint a visual picture of what this Clubhouse is, because the opportunity to meet people that are high standards in their industry is priceless. To be able to hear and it's for free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for this. And so if you could, Glenn, just break down Clubhouse a little bit more to give those that are maybe having a little problem understanding, okay, what Clubhouse, what are you talking about? It's the app. Just kind of go through it, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So let me just rinse and repeat. Clubhouse is an application. It's a mobile application that allows you to get into audio-driven spaces, that allows you to have conversations with people of all kinds, of all sorts. It opens you up to the world. If anybody has ever been on Periscope back in the day, it's like an audio version of a Periscope. The difference here, though, is that the people who who have what we call rooms, they are the curators of the experiences of those rooms. And so you have rooms that talk about everything from business to art to fashion to you name it. You got rooms that are just music rooms, rooms that allow you to come in and just share. You got pitch rooms, rooms that allow you to come in and pitch your products and services, all kinds of things that happen. And then you got rooms that are just chill, places where people come and they just want to catch a vibe and meet people that they normally wouldn't meet. I met Jill on this app. Jill came into our room and she just sat in the audience and listened. And imagine, if you will, I'll go back to that convention center. You're walking into a live convention center. There is a summit going on. There are 50 different rooms that you can go in. You decide to go in this one. You have a seat in the back. There's a stage or panel discussion taking place on front. Somebody is hosting that stage, very similar to what you're doing, Garrett. But you notice that your friend Glenn just walked in, and now you said, hey, Glenn has a lot of value he can add to this conversation. I am going to invite him to the stage. Virtually, you get invited to a stage. Well, it allows you to speak. Everybody in the audience are just listening. You can't speak until you get invited to the stage. Once you get invited to the stage, then you get a chance to engage in dialogue with the person who's hosting it and the room who's listening. So for a person like yourself, Garrett, as a thing we're doing called a virtual summit or Veterans Entrepreneur Summit, I say to Jill, why not bring you on, introduce you to my room, let's talk about the event, and just for kicks, I would like everybody who's a part of the Bootstrapping Business and Ministry Club, or you've ever been in the Lessons Learned in Business Club, put a thumbs up in the chat, put a me in the chat, put a 1 in the chat. And I want y'all just to look at the chat on YouTube real quick. And I'm going to show you the power of how you can leverage a platform for free and be able to do what needs to be done. And I think that what it does is, when we talk about creating intimacy at scale, the environment is thus that people want to share and they want to be heard. And so it's highly inclusive. I just think it's a great medium. We've been doing our show every day since January. And I can't believe of the exponential growth in our business model, the people that I've gotten to meet. It's been a real thing. I hope that makes a little bit more sense.
Man, you did an outstanding job of explaining what Clubhouse is. I mean, an outstanding job. So Nasir, I'm in the military. I'm thinking about getting out. I've got this business, but man, when it comes to social media, I'm afraid. I'm scared. I don't have a Facebook account. I just, so I think there needs to be levels when people are introduced to the social media world who are not into that world. I think there needs to be levels. If you could kind of go down the levels, because it can be overwhelming, and sometimes we can talk about things like all of us know what Clubhouse is, but I'm sure there's someone who didn't. That's why I asked Glenn to break it down. He did an outstanding job. So we talk about social media. Some people only think, well, Facebook is for older people, Instagram is for young people, Twitter is for the young. I mean, let's break down social media.
Yeah, most definitely. And also that description of Clubhouse that Glenn just gave was absolutely perfect. And it's such an honor to be on this panel with him as well, and all of you. So when it comes to social media, before you even get on social media, you want to get clear on your business, because you want to make sure that you're focusing on the platform where your ideal customer lives and your ideal customer lies. So say, for instance, let's just throw it out there. Say, for instance, you're in the sports space and you're catered to a specific audience that is, I don't know, a 30-year-old male that is wanting to get back into working out, and he's wanting to get fit and make sure, all of that stuff. You want to get clear on what your business is, who your ideal customer is, and how you serve them and solve that problem, and then identify what platform is going to work best for you. So like, for instance, over on Instagram, that has a wide variety of different types of people, but does your ideal customer really live there? And then also, you have to understand the platform itself and how the platform works. Because if you don't understand the platform, how do you understand how to leverage that platform to grow your business? So for instance, we talked a little bit about Clubhouse. So on Clubhouse is how I've been able to really grow my business and be connected with some amazing people like Glenn, like Jill, like John Lee, like Grant Cardone, like some of the biggest names within entrepreneurship right now. I've been able to meet on Clubhouse and also gain clients from Clubhouse. So you have to understand how these platforms work, who your ideal customer is, and do they live on those platforms. Same thing. We also talked about TikTok a little like a while back. I forget who said it, but he said that if you are not on TikTok, you need to get on it because of the amount of reach that you can get on Clubhouse and how generous the algorithm is over on Clubhouse. You're able to get in front of more people. That is all businesses is about, is understanding your audience, understanding what problem you solve, then understand the platforms and how they work and how you can leverage those platforms, and then the reach. So what platform is going to help you get the most reach within your business and get in front of the most ideal customers and clients for you?
Yeah. So Nasir, so we all understand, and I'm trying to represent that person who may not define platform and define algorithm.
Yes. So platform is just something like this, like Restream is considered a platform. YouTube is considered a platform. Clubhouse is considered a platform. So any other space that you can go into and represent yourself and or your business is considered a platform for you to gain that reach, to be able to amplify your message and amplify your business. And then algorithm is how the platform basically gives you that reach. So on Instagram, the algorithm is not as friendly. To be honest, you don't get as much reach. They show you to like 10% of your following first, and then based off of how they interact with it, then they show you to a little bit more people. Where over on TikTok, that's a newer platform that just hit over 1 billion users, one of the fastest growing social media platforms. They are a lot looser when it comes to their algorithm. They show you to a lot more people and people that aren't even following you. So that's more potential reach that you can get in front of new people and gain more clients.
Great answer. Ms. Sylvester, so one of the things that, someone is listening to this, I need someone in my marketing, I need someone in communications. I think that's why it's even more important to join the chamber, because some of the things that you're looking for, you may find at the chamber. So let's talk about the importance of relationships, because I want to drive home. A lot of times we don't take part in something because we think we can't afford it. And we don't take part in something because we don't want to pay for it. We don't see the value in it. Well, you're not going to see the value in it until you do it. And so I want to give you another opportunity to drive home the importance of the relationships of being part of the chamber.
Yes, it's very important to be part of a chamber, because a chamber, think of a chamber as your local department store. So you go in your store and there's many products. Some of the products are labeled under the department store's name. Some of them are not. So here you have choices. You come, you're going to meet people like Nasir, social media experts. You're going to be able to. So the investment that you pay as a member or a partner, you think of the end goal, not the beginning, but think of the ending. How is that investment going to turn into ROI? And sometimes it's not even about a monetary investment. Sometimes chambers like ours, I know the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce, we take in members or partners. And we say, okay, you have unique skills and talents, and we need those talents for our members and our partners. And we do some type of barter and trade. So it won't be an exchange of money or investment of funding, but it could be you volunteer and you offer some of your talents and you can be part of the chamber. Everyone has some unique skill sets, and we're encouraged that you utilize it. A chamber can help you from start at the beginning of your business plan. We would love people to come to us before they get in business, so we can help you navigate much easier and minimize your loss and expenses, because we can tell you, okay, this is the roadmap to get your business started. Do you need social media as your marketing campaign? This is who you can contact. Do you need other resources? What license you may need? Insurance. Another thing that's huge that we're partnering with is cybersecurity. A lot of people are on social media. Do you have cybersecurity insurance? Those are the things that a chamber will help you. Let's say if you're going and navigating and working with your local audience and you're trying to build something, or you're trying to open up a business, you're trying to get a liquor license, or you're trying to get into the medical cannabis businesses. These are the things where the chamber will help you navigate much quicker, much easier, and be most cost effective. So the investment that you pay on the beginning can save you so much money. And that's why it's important to be part of the chamber, as well as being part of a network much bigger than your own business and the connections. We're called the Bridge Builders organization. We bridge people and industries and other communities and resources across the state of Georgia. So we're excited and we highly encourage that a chamber is a great organization to help you bring your business to the next level and to elevate your business.
You know, that's a really good point you made. I want to unpack something you said about a business plan. A lot of times when we think about going into business, we have an idea what we want to do. We may be fortunate enough to have the monies, but I think one of the ways that, in my personal opinion, African Americans, they ask for just enough money to get their business open. Okay, and then 6 months into the business, when stuff hits, it's like, I don't have enough money because now I'm depending on what comes in. Where sometimes other people ask for enough business to take them for a whole year or 2 years. So when it comes to a business plan, if you would kind of share how important it is to put a business plan together as opposed to just thinking business.
It is a business plans gives you the roadmap. It gives you the direction. So when you write a business plan, you have a complete vision of your business. So also, you can do those checklists off your whiteboard and say, you know what, I've done this. Okay, so I registered with the Secretary of State. What's next? Oh, I need to get my EIN number with the IRS. Okay, I got that. What's next? So you have this. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when we look at funding, a lot of time people eliminate marketing out of their business plan. You need to talk about how are you going to share this message about your business? Who are you going to talk to? And then also, they a lot of time they don't even have joining organizations such as chambers in their budget or even in the business plan. So that's why it's important that we get engaged and we get involved in the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce. We have the resources. We have a wonderful team, and I am just so excited about the team that we have with the chamber. If someone wants to join, and let's say they're a new business, a startup, or even if you've been in business 20 years and say, you know what, when I did my business plan, I did not incorporate chamber into the business plan, come over. We'll take you in. I guarantee you.
Okay. I want to get back to Glenn. Glenn, in terms of, I want people who are thinking about starting a business and doing your transition, and just to erase everything in your mind. And we're starting fresh and we're just taking all this information in. So Glenn, now I want you to talk about, why should I even consider having a business coach or someone to kind of coach me through this?
Wow. Well, let me just say this, Garrett, because, and somebody said it early, and I think this has been a theme. You don't know what you don't know. I tell a story that, unlike Nasir, who entrepreneurship is in his DNA, it wasn't in mine. I was not the guy that was going to steal your flowers out your flower bed and go sell them back to you. That was not my life. I had a paper route because I was too young to get a work permit. I was always a ridiculously hard worker because I wanted to get paid. That was it. And so the truth of the matter is, for me, I've often said, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. They work too hard, and most of them have little to show for it. When I got out of the military, I went into the radio industry. It's where I made six figures before I was 30 years old. The truth of the matter is, I recognized I was good at that. I was cool with that until it wasn't cool anymore. And for me, my journey took me from there to the ministry space because I felt this calling and this tugging at my heart to do something different. It was there that I first got introduced to what entrepreneurship really looks like. And so when you start talking about getting a coach or getting someone to show you the way, you need a guide. You need to be educated about what you don't know. And so whatever space that looks like, it's research, it is development, it is getting in. And for me, I found that the easiest, quickest way for me to learn is hitching my wagon to somebody who's been that, done that, and don't mind telling that. You add to that equation the accountability, and you have a coach. A coach's job, and let me just put this all the way out there. As a coach, I am not your counselor. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your pastor. I'm none of those things. What I am is a person that will create a game plan based on what it is that you say you want to accomplish it. I will help you in understand how that looks. And then I will set you up so you can run the play. Then I'm going to keep my foot on your neck to make sure you do it. Most people don't succeed in business, not because they're not brilliant, but because they have no accountability. That is the bottom line. You say you want a thing, but you don't. A coach's job is to ensure you get it done. My job is not to run the play for you. It's to coach you up, put you in the best position to win. And together, if we both do our jobs, we're going to win a championship. I promise you that. And so I do that in the personal development space with people who are married. I know what it looks like to screw that up royally. Right? I know what it looks like to put it together. So when we've written our books, it was to that end. And now that we're helping people develop that same mindset in the business space, I needed a coach because I needed somebody who had been there, done that, didn't mind telling me how they did that, and quite frankly, would hold me accountable to doing what it is that I said I would do. That's why you need a coach.
Wow. I mean, man, I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking about when I was working in broadcasting. That was, the last job that I had before I, started business. I treated that radio station like it was mine. And the hard reality came to me was I was doing plays. I was working at the radio station. I was trying to, do both. And, but I treated that radio station like it was mine. And so when I was let go, man, that thing hurt. That thing tore me up. But something, whenever it was, I said, man, why are you treating something like it's yours when it's not? Just build yours and just do that. And so it wasn't easy, but I just, been there, done that, and don't mind telling that, man, that's a book you need to write. Because I think it's important as we talk about relationships in business is that you need a business coach, you need a business plan, but you need a circle of trust that will look at you in your eye and tell you you're going down the wrong road. You need to do this. Can you ask Nasir how important it is to be on more than one social media platform? That's coming from Jacksonville's Best Caregivers. So Nasir, before you answer that question, then I've got something for you. Can you ask Nasir how important it is to be on one or more social media platforms?
Yes. So it is for me. I always say you want to start out on one social media platform first and really have a clear strategy on that one and then expand out onto other platforms. Now, with that being said, I think you should have a presence on it. Like, for instance, I have a presence on LinkedIn, but I don't utilize LinkedIn really that much outside of just messaging people and doing a little bit of prospecting. But I don't post too much. I don't engage too much. I don't have a full strategy. Where Instagram, I have over 10,000 followers over on Instagram. That's more of where I cater my strategy and where I post most of my content. So start out on one platform that is your main one, that you understand the most, that you have a clear strategy, that you're getting the most customers, and that's where they live, and then expand out to others, but always at least have a presence on those other platforms. So when people go to Google you, they're able to see you have a link. Like if you Google Nasir Jawakam, you're able to see LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that good stuff, because it's all under my same name. So yes, one platform, then expand out, but have a presence at least on multiple.
Great. Now, see, this is my question for you: is that we're talking about the platforms and what good to do. I want you to talk about the thing do not do, do not do in social. What are some of the things that you do not? I don't want them to make a mistake and do. What is that do not do in social media?
My absolute do not is don't post with no intention. I am so tired, especially a lot of my clientele, they're over the age of 30. So I work with people that are much older that don't really understand social media too much. That's what I'm here for. And, the biggest thing that I see is that they post like random pictures of them out at the barbecue, and it's just very blurry, very pixelated, not any true intention behind it. post with intention. So when you post, you should be able to look at that specific Instagram post, Facebook post, LinkedIn post, and say, what is the intention behind this? This is either to help engage my audience a little bit more so that I can see where they, where their head's at, or this is to drive more traffic to my Instagram, to the link in my bio so that I can book more calls for my services, or this is to get them to purchase more of my products. So post with intention, and don't just post just because you feel like it in the moment. And you just because you saw Rebecca, what you like, Rebecca, get in the picture, let's post something. No, if you are on social media for business, post with intention. You can have all that personal stuff on your personal social media pages, but if you're on social media for business, post with intention.
Another question for you. I'm gonna come to you, Ms. Sylvester. Now, Sierra, if I have a personal page and I have a business page, should the two intertwine? Should they be separated? How do I do that?
So, yes and no. So and I'm a type of person, I like to play devil's advocate a lot because I give people the full picture and then let's get clear on what's best for you. Because a lot of this is me speaking from generic, but when it comes to marketing, everything is catered specifically to you. So that's why I like to give the full picture. But I say have your own personal Instagram. If it's your personal brand, then that's when they are connected. So like for me, I have a personal brand. I have a community, Never Done Branding community over on Instagram. But I don't have a actual personal Instagram to where like family, friends, cousins and all that stuff, and I'm just posting random pictures. But I also have a business Instagram as well, Royalty As, and also Never Done Branding that we just got up on Instagram. Then those are the platforms that I also specifically talk about my business in, but I utilize my personal brand to show more of like my life, my lifestyle, what I do, but there's still intention behind what I post because I'm focused on my personal brand and building up that community. Because we've been talking about here, you can't do it by yourself. And just as much, you see here, Glenn has an amazing and such a strong community and how much those people support him. You want to make sure that you have a strong community like myself, like Glenn, like these other people here on this platform, because those are going to be the people that take you from where you are now to where you want to be and really take your business to new heights. So have a personal Instagram, but if you're focused on a personal brand, make sure that there's still intention behind it.
Great. Appreciate it. Now, Melinda, we've heard people, or we've heard you talk about, the chamber. Are there meetings or events that you have that you can invite people to so they can experience what you're talking about?
Yes, Gary. Every first and third Thursday of the month, we have what we call a round table. You don't have to be a member or a partner to participate or attend. This is an opportunity for you to get to know the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce and for us to get to know you and your business. We spotlight everyone that joins our call. And so that gives you a free platform for people to know who you are and also for your networking. But I do want to say this. We are striving to do a statewide chamber. We highly encourage that everyone check out their local chamber as well.
Okay, great.
But this would be a great opportunity. And then we do have annual events, and our biggest one is the History of Black Business. And that is a huge event that we tell everyone to please be part of. We've been doing it for 3 years and it has been extremely successful. So this is a great place to network.
So, Glenn, how does someone reach you or learn more about, getting out in terms of finding these resources available through relationships?
They can go to our website.
Okay.
It's ggbcc.org. Once again, ggbcc.org, and that's Georgia Black Chamber.org. And you go to our website and it's easy to navigate. You'll find our email address, our phone numbers, and all of our events are on the website.
Okay.
But the wiring is messed up.
Glenn, in terms of if someone wants to experience getting into a clubhouse or experience learning more about,
we hear you pretty clear, so we should be able to hear him pretty clear.
learn more about business coaching.
Behind him.
How should they be introduced to that? would you suggest?
Let me suggest that if you guys are on the line really quickly, for those of you guys who are hearing, please make sure that your microphones are muted while we are conversing here. This is going to be offered to the playback. And so those people will thank you for muting your microphones while you're not talking. I will tell you really, Garrett, I think the biggest way, first of all, the quickest way that you can get in touch with me is my name, GlennPBrooksJr.com. It's spelled with 2 N's, 1 P, 2 O's, KSJuniorJR.com. I'm sure there'll be somebody in my community that will drop that website in the chat. Or you can email me at GlennPBrooksJr.com, right? We make it really, really, really simple. And it's there where you can find out all those. We do if you're on Clubhouse, I'm on Clubhouse by my name. Clubhouse really encourages you to get on Clubhouse by your name so that it's not like IG where you have aliases and you don't know who's who. So no, if you go out and you download the app, it's free to download, whether you're on iOS or Android. By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, Clubhouse opened the floodgates, and so it used to be only available to people with iOS devices, but you can get on it. You don't need an invitation. You used to need an invitation, and now you just simply go to your app store, your Google Play Store, whatever, download the app, and then you can find me there at Glenn P. Brooks Jr. And then the club that we run is called Bootstrapping Business and Ministry. That's the name of our club. And we have probably close to 6,000 people in that club. And we're doing some amazing rooms like lessons learned in business. We've got all kinds of people doing things like that. But yeah, I would love to connect with you. And if you need an education, I've got a ton of friends in that community can definitely help you out.
Great. Thank you. Nasir, as I was listening to Glenn talk, he talked about his name, and he talked about, when I say my name, it'll pop up. Can you kind of talk about, the branding of your name and what you don't want to be, big Papa on one and small Papa on another one and no pop. I mean, can you talk about the consistency? I mean, that's like, branding 101. Talk about branding. Okay. Nasir.
Nasir, we can't hear you.
You on mute, Nasir.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. So as we talked about, like with Glenn and myself, our names are consistent on all platforms to make it extremely easy for you to find us. No matter what, I'm pretty sure if you Google me, you Google him, or even some other people, our social media platforms are going to pop up because our names are consistent across all platforms. So it's when you are focusing on your brand, consistency and clarity are the two things that you really want to focus on, especially in the beginning. Consistency and clarity, because the clarity is really going to help you understand what your brand is. And also the consistency is going to help people that are just seeing you and discovering you legitimize your business, because they're like, oh, he's over here. Oh, he's over there. Oh, he's also over here, and still consistent on all of those platforms. So yeah, that's the two areas that you really want to focus on in the beginning of branding is consistency and clarity.
Great. So in our this has been great, guys, and we're coming to a close, but we're going to go around the table. And one of the things I kind of want to get you to do is let folks know how they can reach you. But then I want you to get into how is ARP connected to what you do? Because again, I said in the last panel that I had, if I'm under 50, I don't even think about ARP. But when you don't think about it, you're not putting yourself in position to get resources. It's almost like being a caregiver. A lot of times we can't differentiate being a caregiver and our responsibility. If Miss Sylvester is my mother and something happens to her and I'm her son, I don't think of myself as a caregiver. I think of myself as her son. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure she's okay. But if I don't consider myself a caregiver, I'll never consider ARP to help me take care of her. And so starting with Glenn, just talk about, what you do, how they can reach you, and then how ARP has kind of affected what you're doing.
Yeah, no worries. Let me just say on the front end, man, again, I can't tell you how honored and privileged I am just to be invited to be on this platform with you guys. But it's really, really simple. My website is GlennPBrooksJr.com, www.GlennPBrooksJr.com. And you can email me at GlennPBrooksJr. just about everywhere on social, Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, it's at Glenn P. Brooks Jr. And AARP, I've been a card-carrying member of AARP for the last 5 years. I am 55 years old. And but I didn't know until yesterday that AARP now is open to 18 plus. For those that didn't know, now you know. And let me just say this: my wife is an incredible planner. We don't go anywhere without her considering all the resources that are available, whether it's because we both are veterans, whether it's the VA, this, that, or the third, from travel to healthcare to you name it, she is going to research it. And AARP has become an incredible resource for us just to kind of dig into, be a part of, and in this case, where we get a chance to add value and give back as well. So yeah, that's why, if you got your AARP card, put I got my card in the chat. Put that in the chat. I got my card. Put your hand up. Give me some love. I see you, Tiffany. I love it. I love it, Garrett.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna definitely be joining your rooms, man. I met you on Clubhouse, and I plan to keep, just dropping in. Thank you so much. Ms. Sylvester, tell us a little bit about, how they can reach you and what AARP has done to kind of, integrate into your business.
Well, thank you, Garrett. AARP is a good sponsor of the Greater Georgia Black Chamber of Commerce, and we appreciate it. And also, I am a caretaker as well. So AARP definitely encourages me, inspires me, great stories and articles. Also, my mother lives by AARP, and she reads the magazine every month faithfully, and also shares the story. So it has helped us in the aging process for our mother, for me being a caretaker, as well as a business owner. And we do want to encourage anyone who are 50 plus to join AARP. And also, if you're looking to start a business, that would be great too, as well. And you can check us out on, again, ggbcc.org. And thank you, AARP, Garrett, Jill. We appreciate it. And Glenn, you are great with coaching. We would love to connect with you, and Nasir as well.
Great. Now, Nasir, everyone is waiting and can't wait to hear how AARP plays into your world. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm waiting.
So, AARP doesn't specifically has benefited me per se, but has my clientele. Because as I mentioned to you, my clientele is above the ages of 30. So it has taken care of a lot of those individuals and the people that I've been around. And the support that AARP allows and gives to individuals and to people that are, in the older demographic and now 18 plus, so I'll be able to get my card now, hopefully. So it's absolutely amazing. And for me, you can find me at just nasirj.club, and you're actually going to see my link tree. It's a little link tree that I put together with different types of services that I offer. So it has the latest podcast that I've been on. Also, we offer our CRM software to coaches, consultants, and mainly service-based businesses to help you get an all-in-one marketing, sales, and operations solution, automation, email marketing, SMS marketing, all of that good stuff. And then also you'll find Never Done Branding University. So a lot of my community, the main thing that they struggle with is video. So I actually did a short form video live webinar for a while, and then I was doing a challenge after that. And once again, a lot of my clientele are in the older demographic, which is perfectly fine. And I personally love it. I love it because it's easy for me to help, and easy for me to walk through. And I'm very patient. So I'm able to just say, no, this is how you do it. And then from there, from my challenge that I did, I realized that they need help longer. So I created a membership called Never Done Branding University. So at nasirj.club, you're going to find all of those options for you to be able to work with me at some point to help you on your marketing, branding, and social media.
Man, this has been, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And I'm looking forward, as I told the other group, we all family now. So we're definitely going to stay in touch and keep in touch. Thank you so much. And as those guys say goodbye to them as they leave, and we're going to bring up Jill Hines from AARP. And this has been a great session. I really enjoyed this. I love working with AARP, and sometimes with Jill, but but Jill, this was amazing. I mean, the nuggets that were handed out over the last couple of hours have been really, really good.
Phenomenal nuggets. I mean, these are like boulders. These weren't even nuggets, right?
Wow.
And I have to be honest, Garrett, you know, we've over the last 3 years of me at AARP, we've done some phenomenal work from the in person with Clearly Invisible, your stage play, and all of your other plays. But I was really getting emotional behind the scenes. I was sitting behind the stage on this platform the entire 2 hours, and the relationships that I've built over the years, like Bridgette Mccoy, I've known before I came to AARP. We went to veteran retreats together, working with John Jackson and Osborne, and now new relationships with Miss Melinda with the Black Chamber of Commerce, and building relationships with people like Glenn and Nasir. This is just phenomenal, and seeing all in the beauty of it is bringing all of them together, the
Yes.
networking, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's what we do. And as veterans, we always know we don't leave our battle buddy behind. We bring them along with us. And that's
Wow.
what we did today. And next year, everyone know that we're going to take a deeper dive with this next year. Every single month. This was only an introduction. So every month next year, we're going to take a deeper dive, whether it's going into the social media and Instagrams and the TikToks. How do you really leverage your business with that? Talking to the chambers and the Small Business Administration. Where do we get those funds? How do we get the funds to start our business? What are the documents that we need? How do we, what are the taxes and the tax write-offs? All of these kind of things, we're going to really start taking a deeper dive into it. But I really want to thank all of our panelists. Garrett, I love you. We love you at AARP Georgia. You all make sure that this is Veterans Month. November 11th, we know is Veterans Day. Look out for your veterans. Anyone that's in your family, friends, neighbor, church member, reach out to your veterans. We're still in this pandemic. Reach out to them, make sure that they're okay. We're coming up to the holidays. This is one of the most critical times for our veterans with depression, and we want to make sure that everyone is good, everyone is safe. Feel free to reach out to me at JHINDS. My name's on the screen, and at aarp.org. Feel free to reach out to me so we can get them some resources, but definitely you can go to aarp.org/veterans for more information in all things that we do with caregiving, financial resilience, work and jobs, and fraud awareness, what we call Operation Protect Veterans. So definitely reach out to us and stay tuned. We have some great free events at aarp.org. You can find all of our events in aarp.org/GA for our specific organization programs and events, free events. You don't have to be a member, but if you want to be a member and you are a veteran, guess what? November is a month that we give 30% off to our veterans. So I always got a little plug going on, Garrett. I always got a little plug. I'm always working it.
Right,
So if you do want to be a member, I saw people in the chat going crazy. So if you do want to be a member, definitely go to aarp.org and put in that you are a veteran. And in the month of November, and there's only 2 months that we do that, November and May. And you receive 30% off. And it's also, the membership is good for if you have a spouse, that spouse goes under your membership. So it covers you guys for the year.
Jill, could you talk about for someone who may have joined in late or they want to share this, let them know they can resonate. We're going to leave this up, for the rest, for the rest of the month. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So after this event, you will receive a survey link. So please take a moment just to fill out the survey. We love to know your feedback, what you thought of the event. And then also we will leave this event up on StreamYard if you wanted to share it with friends, family. They're able to go back, or if there's someone who registered and was not able to join us, but they did register, they will receive the viewing link afterwards so they can watch it to the end of the month. Absolutely. This is phenomenal information. And I say information, good information is not good if no one gets it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you, Jill, on behalf of AARP Georgia and GA Production Films. We thank you for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
That's right.
Hello, I'm Joanne Jenkins, Chief Executive Officer of AARP, America's largest membership organization serving people age 50 and over. With more than 5 million of our 38 million members currently or previously having served in the military, we're on a mission to support veterans and military families. That's why we've created a wide range of free resources, tools, and community programs to help veterans and military families navigate their options and meet challenges head-on. We've developed a job board that directly connects veterans and military spouses to employers wanting to hire them. And we have free resources that provide some military structure to starting a business. We know that when you're a military veteran caregiver, you start younger, care longer, and face many unique challenges. That's why AARP provides a free military caregiving guide containing important and timely information that you truly need. Because military veterans or service members are twice as likely to be a target for fraud, the AARP Fraud Watch Network, in partnership with Operation Protect Veterans, provides free action alerts detailing the latest scams directed at veterans and military families. And through our state offices nationwide, AARP can help you find the right opportunity to give back to your community and fellow veterans. To learn more about these and other resources, visit aarp.org/veterans. Thank you.